Okay, so I'm going over point of view, and I'll go ahead and create the notes up here. So when the narrator is speaking in the story and they are in the story, we say that it is first person because we get the narrator's point of view that is in the story. First person point of view. And you'll notice in a first person point of view, you are going to see the pronouns I, the pronoun we, because if I say we went to the store, I'm included in there. Or even us. If I say they gave us the ice cream, that means they gave me the ice cream too. I'm in there. I'm involved in the story. So first person point of view is using the pronouns I, we, us. Second person point of view, I'm going to put POV. Second person point of view is you and your. So usually this is a how-to or a speech, and this is not tested in 4th grade. Okay, this is tested in 5th and on. Okay, but I'm just put it in there. You can leave it in there. And then we have he, she, they, pronouns he, she, they. And these pronouns refer to a character that is not yourself, that is not the narrator. So the narrator at this point is not in the story. Therefore, it is told by a third person, not in the story. Third person POV, point of view. Okay, so a narrator is the person who tells the story. Sometimes a narrator is a character in the story and uses the pronouns I to tell the story. This type of narrator tells a story from a first person point of view. Sometimes the narrator is not a character in the story and refers to the characters by name as he or she. This type of narrator tells a story from a third person point of view. An autobiography. So when a person writes a story about themselves, maybe their life and their accomplishments, an autobiography is always in first person point of view. And a biography, when somebody writes a story about somebody else, is always going to be in third person point of view. Now, the advantages of it being first person is that you get to know the character a lot better, okay? Because they themselves are the ones, sharing their feelings and giving you all the information about themselves, okay? And what the events that occurred. When it's a third person point of view, it's, you have to really get to know the characters based on what they're saying, and perhaps if the story shares what they are feeling. And at that point, again, this is a 5th grade concept, but sometimes in a third person, we have limited point of view or omniscient. Let me get it. I hope I might have misspelled it. Omniscient. Okay, I'm not sure about the spelling. But it's limited is when you only are limited to what the character is thinking. Okay? The story only shares what the character is thinking. You don't know what anyone else in the story is thinking, any other character. You just know the main character's thoughts and feelings. But when it's omniscient or omniscient, you know everyone and what everyone is thinking. Okay, so you would know what Bob is thinking, or you would know what Casey's thinking. It's like the all-knowing. Okay, so again, this here is 5th grade and not tested in 4th. Okay, all right, so let's go back up here. Read each passage, then answer the questions. I look at the glowing red numbers beside my bed. Let me grab my highlighter because this is a strategy that you should be doing. I looked at the glowing red numbers beside my bed. Who looked? I did. Whose bed? My bed. Oh no, I had slept late again. I grabbed clothes without thinking. I stopped in the kitchen for a fruit and a bottle of juice. At the last second, I remembered to grab my bag. I ran down the block to the bus stop. I could see the other kids piling into the bus. I made it just as the driver was closing the doors. He smiled at me. Now here, at this point, sometimes students get confused because they see, well, it says he. Yes, it does say he. You're right. That is another character that is involved. But who is he smiling at? Or who, he is smiling at me. And me, I am in the story. Me is I, right? Just in time, he said. Again, the character said that, but to me. Okay? So don't get confused with that. All right, so this here is obviously number 1. First, the very first paragraph or the very first passage is first person point of view. And I know this because of my pronouns that we highlighted and the narrator was in the story. Okay, that's how we know that. Okay, for the sake of time, I'll move on. It says Enrique had Enrique had a hard time waking up in the mornings. Let me grab a different highlighter. So Enrique had a hard time. Am I Enrique? No. That's just a character in the story. I'm the one telling the story. His mom, okay, his mom, not my mom, it's his mom, who's Enrique's. Again, I am not Enrique. Warned him, Enrique, no matter what, do not miss that bus again. So this is the mother talking to him. Enrique woke up and saw that he had slept late again. He jumped out of bed. He grabbed a quick breakfast and his bag, not my bag. Okay. He ran for the bus. He could still see the bus. He knew that he had a chance. He got there as the driver was closing the door. The driver smiled at him. Just in time, he said. Again, this is the driver not speaking to me. At this point, the driver is speaking to him, which is Enrique. So this is the same story, but it is now written in third person point of view. Point of view. And you know this because of the pronouns. And let me just show you here. This is the same story. And the advantage of first person is we are listening to Enrique himself give us his recollection of what happened that morning, right? So there is no better, insight into his thoughts than the story himself telling us, or the character themselves telling us. But it's okay to listen to a story in third person, which is, this is very common. So this is first person, and this is third person. Okay, and again, second person point of view would be maybe a how-to. First, you place, the flour into the bowl, and then you mix, and so on and so forth. And that would be second person point of view, and or a speech where someone is addressing you. Okay. So that is point of view. I hope you understand it now.